den Pflichttänzen, wenn wir uns ein bisschen an die Musik auch gewöhnt haben. Ja, Sie haben schon gemerkt, heute Nachmittag gibt es Tango total, aber nicht Tango brutal, liebe Zuschauer. Oksana, Domina und Maxim Schabalin. Wir wollten es absichtlich einfach mal laufen lassen, Hendrik, damit wir uns auch in diesen Rhythmus hineinfinden können. Und dann können wir ja beurteilen und nach Lage der Dinge liegt das den beiden ganz gut.
Sicherlich, und die beiden haben ja so ein bisschen einen kleinen Vorteil bei dem Tango. Jetzt muss man fragen, warum haben Russen Vorteil bei einem Tango? Es ist nämlich so, dass der Erfinder dieses Tanzes ein Russe war, Alexander Gorschkow, damals im Jahre 76 Olympiasieger, Weltmeister. Und es war ja so, dass man in der Zeit Originaltänze dann zu Pflichttänzen gemacht hat. Das geht jetzt nicht mehr, die Originaltänze viel zu sehr an die Kür orientiert. Und aber damals war das noch so. Wie gesagt, also dieser Tango erfunden von einem Russen.
Ja, und von Alexander Gorschkow.
Genau.
Du wirst nicht glauben, wer der Trainer der beiden ist.
Das ist ein anderer. Der heißt genauso.
Genau.
Aber der Alexander Gorschkow ist Chef des Internationalen Eistanzkomitees, also man kann sagen, der höchste aller Preisrichter. Und
wir werden natürlich auch im Laufe der Übertragung heute Nachmittag herausarbeiten, auf was kommt es denn wirklich auch an bei diesen Tango-Schritten. Sie ist jetzt 21. Er wird nächste Woche 24. Das zweite russische Paar, übrigens von der Qualität her gesehen, natürlich hinter Navka Kostomarov, aber es sind 3 russische Paare hier am Start und das zweite, sozusagen das dritte, das wird auch noch in der ersten Gruppe zu finden sein. So viel zur Eiskunstlauf Mathematik hier im Palais du Sport in Lyon. Das war schon mal ein bemerkenswerter Auftakt. Also da haben wir schon, in anderen Sportarten würde man sagen, eine ordentliche Messlatte.
Das haben wir sicherlich und ich glaube nicht, dass viele Paare das noch übertreffen werden. Die beiden Russen sind sicherlich hier ein Paar, das ganz knapp an die Medaillenringe ranlaufen wird. Ob es in diesem Jahr schon reicht, wirklich aufs Podium zu steigen, das wird sich zeigen, aber das ist ein Paar, das auf jeden Fall im Kommen ist.
So, wir gehen dann auch mal auf die Wertung ein.
Ja, das ist ja, liebe Zuschauer, Sie kennen es, ein neues Wertungssystem, das praktisch die Wertung zweiteilt, einmal einen technischen Wert und einmal einen Komponentenwert, das letztere von den Preisrichtern festgelegt und die 32,69, die die beiden vorgelegt haben, wird sicherlich
competing in the Europeans for the first time, but plenty of experience there. Tatiana Navka, the reigning champion, warming up backstage. We focus back on the ice again now. And as I said, competing for the first time at a European Championships. Representing the Czech Republic. This is Kamila Hakova and David Vinkor.
Start with the timing. To me it felt suspect, and you can't afford when you're coming into a championship to do anything that's a little bit too avant-garde and puts doubt into the judge's mind. So I would have changed that beginning if I were them. Match on the edge before the restart. Now it's good presentation, but if you look at how the couple is, it doesn't look like David's doing a tango. It looks like he's enjoying himself, having a dance. That's fine, but this is a Tango Romantica. So the artistic impression, the artistic mark will be lower than for some of the other couples because of that. Well, a good effort from this young couple. You can see there wasn't the charisma there, but this a big step up the ladder for these two. Their first season at Senior International. They were just Junior National Champions last year, 10th in the Junior World Championships, and then to come out here in their first major senior event, I think they've done themselves proud. I thought they skated very well for their first time. You can see the youthful exuberance and nice relaxed expression out there. Good edges, but not the sharpness and not the presentation that's required. And it's funny, when you first come to the championships and you step on the ice and you see what the others are doing, you can't get it from the television. You can't, I don't think, even get it when you go to the championships and watch it. It's when you go there and you're actually doing it, it suddenly starts to go in, and you're with all the people that you're looking at the costumes they wear, looking at the way they practice, and they'll get that from here. And he needs his expression, you see, he's relaxed, it's good, but just it's not a tango. You don't dance a tango like that. You know, it's firmer, it's stronger, it's relating to your partner, it's sexy, it's got a bit of power to it. Give him a few more tango lessons and he'll get it for next year. It'll be great.
Well, there you are, a lesson from the enigmatic Nikki Slater. I hope you're listening. But they will gain so much. You can see they've really enjoyed the experience, and
they match well together as well. It's so important for the couples that, you know, aesthetically it matches as you look at the balance of them.
Well, they spend a lot of their time training in Oberstdorf, as do a lot of the Europeans. Great facility. It just closes at about 9 o'clock at night, you know. I mean, it's just so boring. All you can do is skate. And you can ski as well. Yeah. Okay, their marks coming up. The technical score, just 12.1. And their components, 10.2. So reflecting the comments that Nikki made there. So they go firmly into second spot.
And they had got the timing mark because of the start, really. The 3.9 there.
A total of 22.31 for Camilla and David. And as the afternoon progresses, we'll see exactly where that... So the second of our Russian couples, the bronze medalists at Russian Nationals, had a fantastic skate there. So a lot of eyes on these two. First time in the European Championships. This is Yana Kotlova and Sergei Novitsky.
Putting a lift in, that's pushing it. There's no rule against that before the start of the dance. And to me, taking just too long on the opening movements before the dance started. And some of the arm movements are not as aligned as I'd like. They are getting down the knee, but it's a little ragged in terms of the overall alignment of the free legs and the bodies in places compared to what it could be. I think it's the dance hold that actually seems to be changing. Just for me at the end too, slightly suspect on the timing, but I'd like to see. Well, a very strong first appearance at a European Championships for Yana and Sergei. Certainly looked to be perhaps a little slow on that second sequence in particular, Nikki. Well, I think what was going on from... I was expecting to see a lot more sharpness from them and a lot more definition of free leg alignment, and it was slightly moving. It looked like this might be one of the compulsories they're not so comfortable with. And what this dance does, you have to be in proper dance hold for a lot of it. And it seemed to me that they haven't really got a strength in that hold. It's moving as they're skating around. So it didn't stay aligned like you'd see some of the other couples. See, like here, you can see the look of the dance hold with her fingers on his arm and everything. It's not, he hasn't got the shape that a ballroom dancer would have. And that opens up the neckline, opens up the top enough. So that takes away from the overall presentation of the dance. See, his shoulder was up there, and it's a bit toppy, the look of it. So although they put some sharpness into some parts of it, you know, they don't look comfortable being in the close dance hold. And at the end too, on the very last segment, they did a faster run into it, and it was just not in time to me.
Well, while we wait for the marks, a chance to go backstage and join Gwendol Pezera.
The easiest dance to set on a small rink. How did it feel? How did you do it?
Было очень сложно, потому что для нас это было сюрпризом, то что площадка будет меньше на 2 метра и в ширину, и в длину, поэтому первая тренировка, конечно, была неудобна.
Well, they're talking about the size of the ice surface.
Готовиться хорошо, потому что именно этот танец, потому что на чемпионате России я получил травму, и мы только неделю как тренируемся в полуоси.
So there, good chance to get an insight backstage. The ice service here, international size as opposed to Olympic size. And the marks on the screen there for the Russian couple, 28.64 their total. So it's Russia in first and second at the moment, with the couple from the Czech Republic in third place. So now a big moment for this young couple. First time in the European Championships and runners-up in the British Championships this year behind Sinead and John Kerr, who go in group number 3. But at the moment, all eyes on Philippa Towler-Green and Philip Poole from Great Britain.
Good start, attacking the dance. Like Philip really to be, that's it. When he looks at her, then you get that spark coming out, but that's only happening on that section. It can add so much. The rest of the time he's not really relating to Philippa, which to me just takes away from the overall effect of the dance. As much depth on the pattern as we've seen from some of the other couples on the final segment.
Well, a good job. They didn't look nervous at all to me. They went out there and really attacked that dance. Great effort. Philippa Towler-Green and Philip Poole.
Yeah, it was. You can't hold back, and they didn't look nervous, and that was great. The thing that, when you compare them to some of the couples that have gone earlier, we're not seeing, we can see it ringside probably more clearly than you, not seeing the depth of edges, the ice coverage on the pattern of the ice. It becomes very ingrained. You can see it in front of you and judge one couple against another, so they're not got quite as much ice coverage. Some of the alignment on some of the key points in the dance was slightly out. You know, Philip's got long legs and they go up there, but sometimes keeping them down and controlled can add to that alignment. It's difficult when you're under pressure and you're really trying to go for it to do that, and you, as a couple, when your legs are different lengths. But that's one of the things that the dancers spend an awful lot of time on, matching each little segment. Now the second half, to me, on the second sequence, Philip looked a little bit like he was just pushing it a little bit. It was a little tense, and that sometimes happens on the second sequence. But overall, I think the presentation, the way they look together, is very good for their first time out there.
Well, there's Mum. She knows what it's like to compete at this level. Diane Towler, MBE, 4 times a world champion back in the 60s with Bernard Ford. You're talking about the matching lines, Nicky, and there is quite a height difference between these two. Does it make it more difficult?
Yes, so for each of the couples, they face a different challenge. If you've got a tall guy and a smaller girl, then you have to work around that. I think that can often help, because the guys in ice dancing, when you bend, you almost come down to the level of your partner. So having a height difference, quite a large one, can help. But you really need to work on each alignment of each leg. So it might mean the guy just keeps the legs a little bit more controlled.
Marks coming up now here. The technical score 11.23 and 9.61. The component score giving them a total of 20.84, and they go into 4th of the 4 that we've had so far.
On the ice for 4 minutes of warm-up.
So we move on now to the second group. 4 teams out on the ice for their 4-minute warm-up, and they are from the Ukraine, Poland, Italy and Russia. But, there's confirmation of the standings. It's Russia 1 and 2 at the moment, with Pippa and Philip down in 4th place. Well, while the skaters are warming up, we got a chance to rejoin Gwendol backstage, who is just trying to catch up with Philippa and Philip, see what they thought of their first European Championships.
Philip, you told me in the dressing room that you were so scared for that first very big competition for you. How did you get that confidence on the ice?
I think it's all the experience come together, and it just brought out the confidence, really. Yeah.
It's train, isn't it? When you train and what you do on the ice just comes automatically. It's like being in automatic pilot.
Okay, in October in Oberstdorf, you had that turn in your skating career. Do you feel it's a very important thing for you now?
Yes, it is. I think we're going to learn so much from being out here, and hopefully we can work on everything and start to move up. Okay.
Well, all positive vibes coming from the British couple, and they've done themselves proud here in Lyon. Well, we're off for a short commercial break, but stay with us. The second group out warming up, and we'll have the action here in just a moment or two. Don't go away. Welcome back. You rejoin us live here for the second group of the compulsory dance, the Tango Romantica. You have just joined us, day 1 of the European Figure Skating Championships. That's the scene here, and they're the defending champion, Roman Kostomarov, and his partner, Tatiana Navka. There she is, just in the final stages of this 4-minute warm-up.
Yeah, they're looking really great, actually. Very confident, really establishing their presence on the ice. When you're champions, that's part of what you learn to do, really taking the ice and drawing everybody's eye to you and knowing exactly what you're doing on every warm-up. They play the music 3 times and you get the chance to just choose which part of that you want to use. Very deep edges, very sharp. They're looking great.
Well, they're by far and away the red-hot favourites. John Kerr, I think it is, there, just warming up. I recognise the bald spot on the top of his head, I think. Well, some familiar faces back here. Margarita Drobiazko and Pavlas Vanagas, the Lithuanians, back competing at Europeans again. They'll be going in the final group. But Denkova and Stavisky, the Bulgarians, are not here. He's got a groin strain. But the red-hot favourites, definitely Navka and Kostomarov. So to get us underway in this second group, a couple who finished in 16th place last year, here representing the Ukraine. This is Yulia Golovina and Oleg Voyko. Silver medalists in the Ukrainian National Championships this year.
well, they're sharp, but they're choosing to do a slightly different take on the timing to the one that I was taught. See how the judges react to that. Just looks a little bit forced on some of the edges. They're trying to get the power.
Well, it looked to me to be an uncomfortable performance, that, particularly in that last sequence, getting quite a long way apart.
Yes, there's moments where in this dance, as in all dances, you have to go up and around the curves. It seems odd. Your mind thinks that you want to get round that corner, and to do it you have to go up and out of the curve and let it flow round. And they were forcing in to those curves and trying to force the power a little bit. And it's difficult to explain unless you really get the feel of it. One day it clicks, and you can then relax and get the power going in the right direction, because there was a couple of times when I was seeing them almost forcing across an edge, and it's a lot of effort, but you don't let the blades do as much work as they could do.
Well, they had a busy season, skated in the Cup of China in Beijing, where they finished in 8th place, 12th in Skate Canada.
And there's nice presentation there. You see the couples all the time, they're doing the same steps, the same edges, but they'll try and do slightly different movements and slightly different head positions, and to put a signature on each dance, and that's particularly what the top couples do. And that nice. At the end of the routine, they lost some of the alignment as well, but I think, you know, it's not consistent. So the whole thing, when you work at the compulsories, is consistency, it's power, and then it's making it look effortless. That's when it really starts to be flying for me.
Well, these two coached in Texas, USA, by Rinat Fakudinov. Marks coming up now. Technical score of 13.15, components 11.38, and that puts them into 3rd place overall. There's confirmation of that. 24.53, their total score. So still Domnina and Shabalin for Russia leading. Last year's European Championships, the national champions of Poland. This is Alexandra Couch and Mikhail Zik.
This is more the traditional timing that I like. It fits with the phasing of the music to me. enables you to emphasize the movements.
Well, a strong performance there from this young Polish team, Alexander Couch and Michael Zik. These two finishing 9th in the Karl Schaefer Memorial in Vienna at the end of last year. That's got them into a position where they're the first reserve for the Olympic Winter Games.
So they're looking to really skate their socks off here. Again, what the compulsory dances do, it does show the dance positions, and in this case, I thought the dance position was a little closed, a little forward. He wasn't, that was a good bit, but his shoulders are just a little forward. He could pull them back a bit more. It opens out the look between the couple and makes it look more confident. So he could work on that, maybe add a little bit to that. And I thought that they did an awful lot of the dance in closed dance hold. That means you keep both arms together, and often you just let one. You let one. She's got the free arm there going at the back. They kept the hold together. And when we used to do it, it was a while ago now, but you'd open out and you'd emphasize just holding on, you know, one arm each, and in certain parts of the dance to give that signature moment to it. It gives it more width, it gives it more power and more panache, and they could do that as well. It's a little bit conservative, but as against Labour. If you were in England, you'd know what that meant, but probably not anywhere, wouldn't you, really? But yes.
Certainly have a great chemistry, these two, so a little more choreography even in the compulsories would add to the performance.
Yes, yes.
Still two couples to go in this second group. So the technical score 12.69, and the component score 11.50. We're seeing come up there. Dropped a little there for the timing. 4.25 only for timing, but a total score for these two of 23.74, and that will put them into 4th place overall at this stage. 4 out of the 6 that have skated so far. On the ice now, the couple from Italy who finished 3rd in the national championships just 10 days ago. This is Alicia Orelli and Andrea Vacciuri, 18th in the Europeans last year.
striking presence in this dance. They're really, you get a sense that they are dancing with passion in it. The alignment of the free legs is out in quite a few places, and the judges' eagle eyes will be looking at that. He's using every centimetre of the ice. It's very close to the barrier on this next section.
Well, what a roller coaster of emotions it must have been for these two. Third medalists in the Italian National Championships, and after the performance of Federica Faiella and Massimo Scali in the World Champions last year, they must have thought, on paper at least, they stood a shot of competing in Torino. But this year, the former World Champions, Barbara Fusapoli and Maurizio Margaglio, came back, and they won the Italian national title, and therefore they have a place in the Italian team.
So a very elegant couple. If you watch the free leg alignment, they tried to do some different movements. They tried to put some of those little signature points in. And when you're skating in a country that's got such a heritage of being high up in a championship, in order to get out into the international scene, you have to naturally be good. So it kind of pulls everybody up. He looked a little bit offline there, you see, but there's quite a few moments in this where the alignment wasn't as sharp as it could have been. And this might sound like a nitpicking thing, but the way the trousers and the jacket work makes a gap in the overall man's look on his body, and I don't like that, because it looks a little ragged, and I like the elegance of the whole look. So if I had an outfit like that on, you wouldn't see the white shirt between the jacket. It'd all be stuck together for sure. Okay. Cover up that bulge of the stomach there.
Hey, good job the viewers can't see you now. Only kidding, he looks great.
But then if I was an Italian, that's how you should dress, you see. So, you know, you'd be fine with it.
I'd stop there if I was you.
Digging deeper.
So technical score of 11.31 and the component score of 9.58. That gives them a total of 20.89, and we'll have them in 6th place overall, just ahead of Tyler Green and Philip Poole from Great Britain. And there's confirmation, 6th place at this stage. Skaters warming up backstage, but that's the view here, and it's been good so far, but now the standard will rise dramatically. The two-time European and world champions and red-hot favourites for gold in Turin next month. This is Tatiana Navka and Roman Kostomarov.
superb first sequence. Great phasing with the music, great focus. Watch the sharpness of each movement. Just slightly losing his body position on the second sequence.
Wow. Well, they've thrown down their marker in enigmatic style. Really on form. Tatiana Navka, Roman Kostomarov, the defending champions.
I thought that was a superb first sequence. On the second sequence, halfway through it, there was just a tiny, tiny bit of his body was just, you know, pushing. When you get a little tired and the edges just tighten up a little bit, there was a touch of that I thought I was seeing in there. But the confidence that they show and the way they presented that dance and the phasing of it on the music and the emphasis, and look at I mean, that's what I love to see. It's when you're actually seeing your partner, you're looking at them, you're dancing with them. This is what it's about. It's a tango, and it's very clipped and very short, and that's what they were doing. Very deep edges, great view of the edges, and really pushing and focused. You always look as a nice dancer to have it so that people can take pictures of you at given moments, and you hear the cameras going, and that's what they're doing. They're creating camera moments all through the dance. Great alignment of the legs.
Well, Nicky, we touched on earlier about the small ice surface here. With the couple skating at this sort of speed and strength, how does that affect their pattern and the way they approach the dance?
Well, if you know for sure that the ice is going to be very different, then you would set it out at home. You know, you would have done that as a nice dancer. But it just takes a little while, and you might deepen certain edges, you just pull off something, or just deepen a lobe, and that's the way it can work, and you're kind of experienced enough at this level to be able to deal with it.
Certainly a fantastic job, Anasina. So we're going to see some good marks here. That is for Dead Shaw. And their personal best, 45.97. 18.63 for the technical score. And 19.58, I can tell you, is the component score, which gives them a total of 38.21. So some way off their personal best, but nevertheless, they take the lead by some way. So it's Russia 1, 2, and 3 at this early stage of the championships. Well, they should be pleased with that start, just what they were looking for. So we get confirmation of that. There it is, Russia 1, 2, and 3. Then the Ukraine, Poland, Czech Republic in 6th place, and then lower down we'll see the Italians in 7th. And Towler Green and Philip Poole for Great Britain in 8th place at the moment. Approaching the halfway stage. Time for an ice resurface now, but we'll be back in a moment. And the British couple, Philip Towler Green and Philip Poole. Still 3 groups to go, and coming up after the resurface, we've got more British interest with Sinead and John Kerr, who finished 8th last year in the always always entertaining Israeli couple. Never won a medal at the Europeans. So close last year. Galit Shea and Sergei Sakhanovsky. They go third in the next group. But these two on your screen now, Navka and Kostomarov, in the lead by some way. And we can now join Gwendol behind the scenes to see what they thought of their performance.
You told me in the dressing room that the small rink is a problem for the Romantica. How did you manage to do it today?
You know, that was the one thing, like that was the one problem, because like rink is much smaller than Olympic size, and for this compulsory dance for Tango Romantica, it's pretty hard to skate on this small rink, because, you know, and of course we was skating in the second group without the reserve in the ice. It was more harder because like so many ages and everybody go in same pattern. That was the problem, but we did okay.
Tatiana, you didn't look very happy with your performance. How does it feel now?
I was happy.
So you're very happy, everything's okay?
When I was not happy? When I was sitting? No, because Sasha said our personal best was 45, and I was asking why.
But that was 2 years
It was a year ago, because every marks was higher last year. I don't know why, probably some GUE or something is different this year. So, but we're happy with skate very good today for today. So, and we're looking forward for Olympic. So, and for regional and free dance, of course.
Roman, what do you expect from this competition?
What I'm expecting? Skating great, what I'm expect. Like, we're practicing, we're training like so hard before the European Championship, and hopefully we will do same thing or maybe better on the competition.
Thank you very much.
Well, there you are. They've been training hard and struggling with the ice surface size here in Lyon. Well, you can see the ice engineers out there doing their stuff, and we're getting ready for the here in Lyon for day one of the European Figure Skating Championships, and that is the situation so far. It's the compulsory dances, if you have just joined us. One dance this year, the Tango Romantica, and it's Navka Kostomarov, the defending champions, leading by some way. The first of the two British teams taking part, lying in 8th place at the moment, but the British champions, 8th last year, 2nd to go in this third group, and there they are on the left of your picture there, looking very relaxed indeed. What would be going through their mind now, Nikki?
Well, they're almost veterans of this now, and they've been out a few years, and you know what to expect. So important to have the right frame of mind for the compulsory dance. You can't afford to make any mistakes, and you want to be really emphasizing that you've improved, it's solid, and it's really, you try and reflect as much as a free dance in it almost. That's the kind of focus it is, but you need to hold back a little bit. It's not as much freedom in the compulsory dances as when you're doing the OD and the free dance, so slightly different mindset. And this ice surface, as we heard, you know, being a bit smaller, that just makes you think a little more differently. Just got to concentrate a little bit more, just to change the pattern slightly.
Well, a few champions here today. Philippe Candeloro there on the right of your screen, and we just got a shot of Marina Anasina. So just waiting for this warm-up. Skaters should be on the ice very, very shortly indeed. Jonathan Sinead 2nd to go, and they've already got their place booked for Turin next month, and looking to put down a marker here at the Europeans.
Yeah, they will indeed. And they look really relaxed. We saw this before. We've got a backstage camera.
Yeah, she told me when she's finished with him, you can go down. You're next.
I'll be there,
and you need it.
Yeah. And you know, the arena here, it's interesting, isn't it, that the seating, there's not a lot of seating rink side. So it's great when you're a skater and there's a lot of seats ringside, because you can really relate to the audience. They're just set a little bit further up. There's not a lot of seating really. It's quite enclosed. I think when it's full, because it's high, it's going to be a nice atmosphere. It's going to build the excitement, because it's a bit of a bowl effect, isn't it? Interesting, the VIP seats at the side are, it's not that many of them, and they just give that slightly, I don't know, it's not quite so intimate feel that you normally have in arenas. A lot of VIPs, I think.
Yeah, it is quite a good atmosphere, and I can imagine, particularly for the gala at the end of the week and the men's and ladies free skate, it's going to be quite an atmosphere.
I think for the gala it'll be great because there's a high roof height and, you know, good throw length for the spots. You can see some of the lights up already. It'll be nice effects. It'll be really good. There's Marina, of course, and Gwendol, our presenter here. Of course, this is his hometown in Lyon.
And, certainly is. He's told us the places to go and not to go.
Yeah, I think he's royalty in this city, that's for sure. As he should be.
And here we go then, the skaters onto the ice now for the third group. 4 dance teams out on the ice, and representing Hungary, Great Britain, and 2 couples from Israel. So an interesting group, this one. 2 couples skating in their first European Championships, and John and Sinead, this is their 3rd time at Europeans, 8th last year. My goodness, haven't they worked their way up the ranking in rapid style? And 3rd to go, it'll be the couple never won a medal at a Europeans. Could this be their year? We always love to watch them, Galice and Sergei Sakhanovsky. But first to skate, it'll be Susanna Nagy and Georgi Elik. Georgi, the brother of Attila Elik, who skates with Nora Hoffman and is first to go in the final group.
I've just seen a picture of Sinead. John and Sinead just came out onto the ice very, very fast in a warm-up circle, looking very confident. Excellent flow over the ice. Really look to be taking command of the group, really. Which is interesting to me with Galice and Sergei Sakhanovsky. They really weren't trying to go out and impress the judges here, but more of a relaxed stance. And to me, you'd take...
There's a familiar face.
There's my mum. Hello, Mum. She looked happy and relaxed before. We're concentrating now.
There are the Israelis.
And you know, when this is going on, you just have to be aware of the couples around you. Sometimes you can be so focused on keeping going, particularly when you've got young couples coming in for the first time. They haven't quite got the experience of giving you the room, and often there's been clashes and collisions at this stage of the competition. Everybody's very hyped up. You're trying to impress, you're told not to stop, and just have to play it safe. Particularly for the guy who's responsible for how you're really managing the ice surface as a couple. Let's have eyes in the back of your head.
We just had a shot of Alexander Zulin, the coach of the Israeli couple, Sheikh and Sakhanovsky. A real variety of standards out there on the ice at this stage. It's the couple that will be last to go. Alexandra and Roman.
And the smaller ice surface, in some ways, it can help the couples that aren't quite so powerful, because you can look like you're covering a lot of the ice rink, so you can look more impressive. Those that have lots of speed are having to alter the patterns of their dance more and really get more width into certain areas of the dance.
These two looking strong and trying to impress the judges in this 4-minute warm-up. Just over half a minute to go. Incidentally, we've got judges from the USA, Great Britain, that's Hilary Selby, Israel, Australia, Canada, the Ukraine, Germany, Azerbaijan, France, Switzerland, Czech Republic, Russia, and Lithuania.
And this dance was invented by Alexander Gorshkov and Ludmila Pakhamova. Now, when they skated, they were world champions, and Ludmila used to spin like a top, and often Alexander would just kind of provide the frame for her and do that. So I think this dance is easier for the guys, and thank you, Alexander, for that. Oh, thank you.
Sounds like my kind of dance. Well, the warm-up's over now. So this is the third of 5 groups. So just about ready to get underway with group number 3. So to get us underway, last few words of wisdom there from the coach as he sends off his team. Representing Hungary, competing in their first European Championships. This is Susanna Nagy and Georgi Elek. Runners-up in the Hungarian National Championships this year.
Not a bad start. There isn't a big height difference for this couple, and that's a slight disadvantage to the look on this dance, because the man has to get deep knee bends. And if you've got a big height differential, it can make the overall look of the dance a little more elegant.
Well, certainly a good effort from these two. Interesting, the team coached by Susanna's dad, and you've had a bit of experience of that, Nikki. How is it on the training rink, working with your parents? And
well, if you can think of your mum or your dad every day teaching you to drive and trying to make you a bit better each day, then that might sum up part of that, how that works, really. I think it traumatizes your parents, really. At least I did.
No change there, then.
Yes, why not? So that was a nicely skated routine. Obviously, they haven't got quite the level of some of the other couples we've seen to date. She presents it well. There's times when you look at the free leg, and it's the detail of things that the judges are looking for in all these dances, and the free leg was a little loose, not pointed, not as strong as it could be. But they'll be pleased with it. And you see, even when you get that move there with the two legs pointed forward, you aim to get them exactly aligned, focused at the judges, and then snap out of it. And it's the snap that's so important.
Just got a shot there of Sandor. Yeah, it must have been
pretty tense moments for him as his team's out there on the ice. Often the coaches get more nervous than the skaters.
Well, yeah, I can't imagine it, really, but I think it must be that you wanting so much to do it, but you've got no control at all as to what's going on. Then you have to sit in the kiss and cry afterwards and think, can't say it now.
Sometimes they do. So let's see where the judges will have them after that performance. Remember, it's Russia 1, 2, 3 at the moment. 8 teams have skated so far, and the judges have not gone with that. The technical score 10.49. That's the worst that we've had so far, and the component score just 8.42, which will give them a total of 18.91 and puts them into 9th place at this stage, in behind Towler Green and Philip Poole. So there's confirmation of that. Still 3 couples to go in this group.
On the ice, representing Great Britain.
So a shot of Galitche and Sergei Sakhanovsky just composing themselves backstage, but we focus out on the ice now, where the British champions, 8th last year. This is Sinead Kerr and John Kerr for Great Britain. To me, just a touch rushed on the timing. Strong edges. Oh yes, I really enjoyed that. Very, very powerful indeed. Didn't seem to be a nerve in their bodies.
Yeah, for me, they're choosing to do a different interpretation with the timing in parts of the dance, and it doesn't work as well as when you've used, to me, when you use the phasing of the music as it was originally designed. So I'm watching that and I'm thinking, well, it's strong and it's attacking and it's consistent in its timing, but it doesn't feel the quality of the Tango Romantica I used to do it. So the judges could say, okay, so this is somebody taking the dance and making it their own. That's great. Or I like it the other way. The interpretation isn't so strong. So it's a little bit of a risk to me. And the opening of the dance too needs higher leg lines, a little bit more open, a little bit more swooping round. because they've got such strength and power. And I don't know if this is caused by the rink size, because you're compressing things a little bit more. Because they are such, you know, such strong skaters, and they have great ice coverage, and there's just that doubt to me from the way they've chosen to interpret it on this occasion.
I just love the strength and the depth of the skating.
Well, they spend lots of time in ballroom dance training, and it makes a tremendous difference because you get the feel of a dance and you get to know how to stand, but then to translate that onto the ice and do it in competition terms is a real mastery of something, and that takes lots and lots of time, and they're starting to get that more and more and more. You can see it in the way they hold themselves, the way they know the dance holds, and they're so strong together.
Yeah, often when skaters come out onto the ice, and the nerves and the sense of the big occasion makes them tighten up a little bit, and they don't tend to get into the ice, but they seem so relaxed and really in the knee.
Yeah, and they've got, to me, they've got a reserve of strength. They're great athletes, and they've got a reserve of strength they can apply into this. So
now the moment of truth. Technical element 16.71, 15.25 the program component score. That gives them a total of 31.96, close to their personal best on the compulsory dances. They've had 32.97 before. That was in the European Championships last year, but it's 31.96, and that good enough to put them into third place at this stage. So good news for the Kurs, third, splitting the Russian teams at this stage. Well, they've never won a medal at either Europeans. Well, in fact, at the European Championships, they have won a medal at the World Championships back in 2002. Always great to watch, and really looking for a place on the podium here in Lyon. This is Galitschek and Sergei Sakhanovsky. Hold on to your hats.
Start. A load of speed. This is one of the best Tango Romanticas I've ever seen. The definition of the steps, the attack, and the power and smoothness. Superb.
Fabulous. Well, we're used to seeing these two coming out with loads of charisma, passion and speed, and to me it was as though that dance had been choreographed just for them.
Yeah, it was brilliant, and I got the excitement of it right from the first move. He pulls her towards him, and it's like, now we're tango, now we're tango. But this couple do so much power and speed, and yet they've managed to change the pattern and fit it onto the ice. That was better for me than anybody we've seen to date, than Tatiana and Roman's. That was good, but this had an edge to it. The clipped and sureness of every movement, and then the relaxed areas of it too. I loved it. It was great.
So you're saying this should go into first place?
If I was judging this, I would have this on first place. If they show the turn on the start, there's the relationship. We're doing a tango here, babe. Come to me. And he catches it, and that's what you're trying to put over. And it never faltered right the way through it. And sitting here rinkside, we can see the depth of the circles they've got and the edges, and they're on the outside of everybody's pattern.
Yeah, it really was deep and fast across the ice.
And see, it's the way you do a movement and you hold it, and then you flick to the next one, and then you flick to the next one. And the focus of the eyes and the focus of where you're looking, and each line is key and important. And that's what they're defining here.
Yeah, these two, they have the snap, don't they? Which is so important on this dance.
Great. Ballet dancers have it. Dancers need it. Well, you know, when you can put it on ice and emphasize those moments, then you get the excitement.
Look at the drama there.
Sometimes it can be too much too. Sometimes it can go over the top.
What a coaching team, eh?
Yeah.
Evgeny Platov and Alexander Zulin there. But we're going to go backstage now and join John and Sinead.
So, John, preparing to compulsory is different from other discipline in ice skating. So how do you feel before coming to this Tango Romantica?
Actually, sometimes I feel slightly more relaxed, because with all the elements in the original dance and the free dance, sometimes actually compulsories is almost the easy part now.
Yeah, compulsories is almost, it felt like a very good training up to this, because, I mean, the ice is very nice in both the main rink and the practice arena, so I would say our practice sessions have been going extremely well, so we were quite confident coming into this and just glad to have skated it well.
Great.
Well, they certainly did skate it very, very well indeed. But now we await the marks for Galin and Sergei. Nikki would have them at the top after that performance. Let's see what the judges have to say. Well, it's close. 17.19 for the technical score. Navka Kostomarov had 18.63, 17.60, so behind, some way behind on the component score. That's where they've really lost most of the ground. 34.79, I can tell you, is the total there for Shate and Sakanovsky, and that will put them into second place at this stage. So it's Navka Kostomarov, the defending champions, leading. Shate Sakanovsky in second, Domnina and Shabalin. Imagine. So the final couple taking to the ice now in this third group. Another couple competing for the first time at the European Championships. Young couple, 18 and 22 years of age, respectively. Again from Israel. This is Alexandra and Roman Zaretsky. Brother and sister team who train out of Montclair, just to the west of New York City.
Good first sequence. They're driving through all the edges. had a nice section. Alexandra really stepping out. And it helps the man. It keeps the flow of the dance going.
Well, certainly a good effort from these two competing in their first European Championships, and it must be marvellous for them to follow in the footsteps of Gali and Sergei and now train alongside them just outside New York.
And when you train alongside top skaters, that's your benchmark every day, and that really, you can see it all the time, can't you? If you go and skate and practice alongside somebody that's that, you're thinking, they're doing that, that's what I need to do. You look at their patterns, you look at their body alignment, you look at the way they drive themselves and their focus, and you start to pick it up. You almost don't need a coach, but then the coach can then work with that. And you know, it's a very competent performance. I like the start of the second side, the way she really was pushing and moving it forward at that point. That was really great.
Well, they've got quite a coaching team behind them. Two-time Olympic champion Evgeny Platov and Alexander Zulin. There's Platov. Look at the focus there.
And he knows how to get speed for sure.
Yes.
And you know, and sometimes when you can skate behind somebody when they're doing the dance, or do it with them and say, look, this is how fast I want it to go, and you go, whoa, what? That's what I expect. Then that's when, you know, coaching really works, when you feel it. So you can see his head is a little down there, eyes a little down. Needs to at all times just be projecting up and out unless he's looking at his partner.
In fact, this is a good arena for practicing that because everything's so close in and so high.
Yeah, you have to look up, really. And sometimes you think you're looking up, don't you? And I don't know, your head's down and your eyes are looking up. So
now we're going backstage again and to hear from Galit and Sergei.
An impressive team of coaches, Evgeny Platov and Sasha Zulin. What does it make, like, what is the difference in training?
Well, it's different working now with Sasha because a total different outlook on making a program and just the concept of figure skating, and plus with the technique. So we're very happy to be in this situation.
I realize your way of skating is a lot softer in the free dance. Do you think that comes from this?
Yeah, because it's like a combination of the technique, how Galit say, and choreography. So we trying this season skating more softer and more slow because everybody said that we're running. So we want to change this forever.
Great, thank you very much.
Well, let's hope they don't lose too much of the speed. Always great to watch.
Sur la glace pour 4 minutes d'échauffement.
So there in the background is Wendell. And we've got the skaters out on the ice now for group number 4. That's the situation, though, at this stage with 10 couples to go. Navka Kostomarov, the defending champions, leading. Shaden Sakhanovsky in second. And Domnina and Shabalin for Russia in third place. Good news for the Kurds in fourth at the moment. So there he is, looking very relaxed as always, Gwendol Pesara. And we're going to take a short break. So in this third warm-up, skaters from Italy, France, Switzerland, Azerbaijan and Germany. And there on your screens, Christian Fraser and Igor Lukanin, 9th last year, and they will be 4th to go in this group, looking very relaxed and enjoying their time here in Lyon.
I think our backstage cameraman had fallen in love with her before, and I can't imagine for a moment why. You probably didn't see some of those pictures. When we go to breaks here, we get pictures of backstage footage and get the overall atmosphere of what's going on. Some of the skaters getting a little close together there. You can see it from that wide shot looking down. Just need to keep your wits about you. Again, a little close.
So they're another brother and sister team, Christina and William Bayer from Germany, 15th last year. They've got quite a task on their hands. They've got to finish in 11th place here to get a ticket to Turin. And there, Martin Scott-Nicky. He'll be doing everything he can to ensure that that happens.
So now remember, this is the second group after the warm-up, so the ice will be rutted. What we mean by that is that people are doing the same pattern over and over. So you have to be very sure of your footing. Don't get caught in the tram lines of somebody else. Otherwise, it can pull you off the edge. More difficult for these couples skating in this group than straight after an ice resurface.
Yes, we heard Tatiana and Roman talking about that, and certainly difficult when you're last to go. So to get us underway, a young couple who was sensational last season and looking good this season too. 5th in the Europeans last year, really striving up the rankings in a very short space of time. This is Federica Faella and Massimo Scali.
Sharp, different interpretation with the arm movement there. Like it. And a different foot movement. On this section, watch, they do a different movement with the arm hold. On this now, he takes his arm over the front and then back. Nice effect.
Well, since the European Championships last year, they haven't had things all their own way. They've had some boot problems, they've had a few injury problems, and didn't do that well in Beijing in the Cup of China, where they finished in 6th place, but did much better in the Eric Bombard Trophy in Paris, winning the bronze medal there.
What I like about them is the technical precision. Roberto Pellets earlier, I used to skate alongside. He was trained by my mum. He used to come over to Altrincham with his partner and skate, and he's a real technician. He's excellent in all areas of the competition, but you can see his emphasis going into this dance here. And you know, Chris, I'm a nice dancer, so if somebody does a different arm movement, I get very excited. But that sort of approach, looking at what you can do that just makes it a little bit different, really can add something to the dance. I think, you know, some of the power and precision isn't there from some of the couples above them, but they skated it very, very competently. They don't have that height difference we talked about earlier, so they have to skate slightly differently to some of the couples that have that. and they chose to do the original timing, which fits to this dance best for me. And you see, he could have got his leg a little higher there to match hers, not complete alignment on that. And that would be one of those picture moments that we're looking forward to be seeing absolute alignment at the point the shutter clicks.
Do you think they'll find it a positive thing that the other Italian team have come back this year, Barbara Fuspoli and Mauricio Magalio? Because all the focus was on them before.
Yeah, so no. It's like, no. because they've come in and beaten them at Italian nationals, and they are so strong. But you just then have to deal with that, and you have to go, okay, so the focus isn't going to be on me. It's the one after this. How can I use this to my advantage?
Well, let's hope they find a way. So the marks coming up now, the technical score 16.84. They're not bad marks at all. 16.37 I can tell you is the component score. You'll see that in a moment, and that will give them a total of 33.21 and puts them into third place at this stage. Well, not a personal best for them, but they'll take that position at this stage. No doubt about that. Third place for Faella and Scali. Well, the stadium is not that full, but you're going to hear a roar now as these two come to the ice. Runners-up in the French National Championships, 12th last year at the Europeans. This is Nathalie Peschela and Fabien Boza.
Flow and extension, nice positions, very definite movements. Good first sequence. So he's very competent and sure. He could put a little bit more tango into it in his facial expression and the way he's relating into Nathalie. And that would add to the overall impression mark that they'd be getting. Nice second side. Oh.
Well, it's gone down a storm here in Lyon, and rightly so. These two skating at home, trained here by Muriel Zazoui, as is Isabelle Delabelle and Olivia Schoenfelder. So this really the home of ice dance in France.
And a very, very competent performance indeed. And I said, oh, on the end of the second sequence on the second side, just looked like his hips went back slightly to me, just a slight, hesitation there. But the second side, the way he was doing it, very down in the knee, good body position, and a lovely flow. Probably one of the best end of the second sides we've seen this afternoon. They're very elegant together. This was, as he got into the dance, you couldn't tell. If you took a picture of him and you didn't have the music, or you just watched the video without the music, how could you see it was tango? Because the expression wasn't there. She's selling it, but they're not in, like dancing a tango together in their expression. But the rest of it, very good. I like the outfits, I like the way it flows.
It's another very strong French ice dance team, isn't it? They really have loads of power.
They have. It's again, when you're in your own country and you're going to the championships each year, and you may be a primary, then a junior, and the top ones are so good, it pulls you towards, that's where I need to go to, and you see it every year and you're skating with them. If you're in a country where there's nobody in the top flight and you're going each year to a championship that isn't of a great standard, you come to something like this and you go, what is this about? This is where I need to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always think that's great, that why you need to bring top skaters into rinks. Like in England, when you bring top skaters in and you see all the little ones looking at it going, goodness me, is that what I have to do? I'll go there then.
Yeah, well, Muriel really has been a dominant force in ice dance in France, and there she is, sat on the right-hand side of your screen there. Coach of Anissina and Pesarin took them to Olympic and world gold medals, and also coaching Isabel Delabelle and Olivier Schoenfelder, who we'll see in action in the final group. So these two, of course, benefiting from being out on the ice with the top French couple. So just to remind you, Navka Kostomarov leaves, Sheikh Sakhanovsky for Israel second, Fayella and Scali for Italy in third place. 15.26 the technical element score there, and the component score 13.37, 28.63 will have them in 7th place overall. So they slot in behind the third of the Russian couples, and just ahead of Golovina and Voyko from the Ukraine. So skaters for the final group. Out the back there warming up. There's a resurface before they come out onto the ice, but we focus on the 15th couple to compete in this compulsory dance, representing Switzerland and competing in their first European Championships. This is Leonie Kreil and Oscar Peter.
So it's not bad, but to me, Oscar looks like his shoulders are a little forwards. It's not helped by the cut of the jacket, which is loose. So the overall line of the couple together has a feeling of leaning forward, particularly him leaning a little bit more forward. Those shoulders need to be back, head needs to be higher, and the neck longer.
Well, Nicky, we've talked about experience here. This couple really have not competed at all internationally, apart from the Nebelhorn Trophy in the summer, where they finished in 14th place. Oscar competed in singles back in 2000 in the European Championships, but as a dance team, they really have no competitive experience at all.
And you know, it's repeating the same thing in a way, but seeing how everybody else dresses, how it works, you know, it's important. The outfit, you know, it's a key part of it. The look, everything, down to, you know, everything you wear in your practice, what you're wearing at the draw and the reception. You know, for the ice dancing, it's all thought through. The top ones, you can never find them looking anything other than the star or the champion that they are, and they get to that level. And when you first come in and you see it, you know, then you see the difference here. And he has this slight hunch forward with his shoulders and the slightly forward, that looking down, not so much looking down, but forward projection. And if you're skating on your own, you can, I don't know, Chris, it seems to me you can get away with it more, but they don't have a big height differential, and he needs to be standing up straight back as much as he can in order to present the girl. And if he's slightly hunched forward, it takes away his overall height and the feeling of it, and then it doesn't look as good as it could.
Yeah, in some places he almost had a deeper knee bend than she did, which actually made him look shorter.
Well, I think in many places on these dances, the man's on the outside of the curve, and he is bending maybe as much as the lady or more. So you end up, you can have maybe an 8-inch height difference become a 2-inch height difference, or almost the same, you know, the same level as you're going around the deep edges if the man's on the outside of the curve.
Well, there's a 5 centimeter height difference, only 2 inches between them.
Yeah, so you've got to manage that then. You have to, the way you dance together and you make the angles, you have to really work at it.
Well, beaming smiles at the moment down there in the kiss and cry from Leonie and Oscar. Cornelia Greisinger, the coach, sat alongside. So first mark 9.83 for the technical score, 7.97 the component scores, and those marks the worst that we've had so far. Total of 17.80 has them in 15th place. So 15th of the 15 that we've had so far. Well, I won't argue with that.
He's got a tough job, hasn't he, backstage? Our cameraman.
On the ice now, couple from Azerbaijan, 9th last year. Couple who train in the USA with Alexander Zulin. This is Christine Fraser and Igor Lukanin.
Choosing to start the dance right on the part of the music I would use, getting the phasing right. Everything fits better.
Loads of passion, as always, from these two, who incidentally spent the last couple of weeks preparing for these championships in Russia, training with Alexander Zulin and on the ice with Navka and Kostomarov. Looks like it paid off.
Yeah, they're really pushing the power and all the edges there. I didn't see quite that clippedness and that sureness in expression and focus that I'd seen from some of the other couples, so that takes away a bit from the overall impression for me of the dance. And I thought that yeah, the outfits, she looks great. I mean, they're both great, but just to me they don't relate together as much as they could, so that it's two separate outfits. And where's the link? Where's the link? And is it Tango? No, that as well. You know, Navka Kostomarov chose to go the more ballroomy route of it, or are you going the more Latin route of it? What are you doing here with the Tango? This doesn't quite capture the Tango for me, and all that makes a difference. Very competent, strong, good edges. It's all the little extra bits as well that can add so much for me. Getting into costumes, aren't I? I think, oh dear.
You won't sleep tonight, will you?
But it is, you know. I brought mine with me. There's another story. Oh, only kidding.
Thank goodness, you're not borrowing mine.
You brought yours, okay. Oh, that's fine then.
Right, enough about the costumes. Let's see what the marks are for these two. There he is, Mr. Zulin there. He's got 3 couples in the event. Of course, Navka Kostomarov, who are leading at the moment. Then Sheikh and Saganovsky, who are in 2nd place. So it's all looking good for him at the moment. But 15.21, the technical score there. Not too bad at all. 14.85, that gives them a total of 30.06, and that's good enough to put them into 6th place overall, just behind the curse. So good news for John and Sinead. They hang on to that 5th spot. Looks like they possibly will finish in 7th place. Just looking down the rankings of who's to go so far. So all looking relaxed off the ice. A little bit of tension. Tango Romantica. They were 15th last year. They're looking for a place in the top 11 for a ticket to Turin. This is Christina and William Bayer from Germany.
Strong, very close to the barrier.
Well, I really enjoyed that. Wasn't sure what to expect, but they came out there, looked very relaxed, really into the ice. And it seems a shame to me that they did so well in the Karl Schaefer Memorial Trophy in Vienna, winning the bronze medal there, which earned them their ticket to Turin, yet they still don't know if they can go.
Yeah, yes. Sometimes associations do strange things, and that to me is just unfair. You know, if the rules say, then should be able to go, really. So extra pressure on them, but then they just have to deal with it. And Martin Skotnicki, their coach, an expert at doing that. I thought that was a really competent performance. I thought the matching and the alignment was good. The focus points were good. They're not a tall couple, so they don't quite have that power on the ice to impose an impression that some of the taller couples would have. There's Martin concentrating as he does day in, day out in Oberstdorf.
He must be exhausted at the end of the day.
I think some of the coaches are absolutely wiped out. You know, they've gone through the routine a while ago now, but you'd open up very nice steps, matching the forward free foot, matching the back free foot. A lot of work going into that, so you can look at each step they do. Watch the forward foot as well as the backward foot. Attention to detail. Very, very clever. A lot of the skaters wouldn't bother to do that and take that level of precision into the routine. That's what is needed.
I tell you what, Nicky, they have improved so much in the last 12 months.
They look very sure, don't they? Just very competent.
I thought that was fabulous.
I mean, Oberstdorf is great for that, because you've got the different rinks, and you've got the mirror rink, of course, where you can, in real time, get the feedback. It's all right having a video camera on you, but it's just not the same as having a full-length mirror, which is what they've got in Oberstdorf at one end of the rink. And it's just a fantastic facility.
Well, it's all smiles. Let's hope it stays that way. Certainly got the thumbs up from Nicky and I. Now, 15.18 the technical score. 13.44, I can tell you, is the component score. So been dropped a little bit there. And that gives them a total of 28.62, and will have them in 9th place. So a few anxious moments as we move into the final group, with at least 2 skaters that will finish above them, possibly more. So they'll have to hang on. It's not over yet. But certainly, I don't think they could have performed that dance any better at all. So there's confirmation of how we stand at this stage. The defending champions at the top, Shape and Sakanovsky, who were superb, in 2nd place. Then the Italians in 3rd. What a performance from them. Then the 2nd Russians in 4th place. The Kurz in 5th. That's the situation a bit further down. Confirmation that the German team there in 9th place. And Pippa Towler-Green and Philip Paul in 15th of the 17 that we've had so far. 5 to go. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back. Well, out on the ice at the moment, the ice resurfacers doing their thing as we look back at some of the action from this compulsory dance here, the Tango Romantica. 17 couples have taken part, just 5 to go so far, and in a moment or two we're going to take an opportunity to have a chat with the last couple to skate. Couple that skated 17th, German couple, Christina and William Bayer, skated very, very well, and they're lying in 9th place, remember, and looking for a top 11 finish for a ticket to Turin. Let's hear what they have to say about their performance. Well, Hendrik Schamberner there saying congratulations on the performance. They were last to skate in the group, and Hendrik's asking whether the ice quality was bad at that stage. Christina says in some parts of the ice it was a little bad, but the experience pulled her through. And William says he felt very good today and felt that they did very, very well. Hendrik says, looking at the ranking, they're close to 11th place. Does that put pressure on them? Williams says that the Olympics are in their mind, but they're trying not to think too hard about it, and they're going to try and make the qualification. It's going to be really, really close, and they'll see what happens. Now, Hendrik asks, what do they think about the dance and the good points? And Christina says the technique's good and the artistic side is good. They're very consistent and feeling pretty confident. Well, looking to do another good performance here, and Hendrik just wishing them all the best, as we do here in the commentary position. So it's been a wonderful afternoon so far. Still 5 couples to go, and names to look out for: Klushina Goncharov, silver medalist last year, and Delibel Schoenfelder, last year's bronze medalists, and back again. We haven't seen them in action for the last 4 years. Yeah. We're back live now. It's the compulsory dance, and that's the situation. Navka Kostomarov leading for Russia. Israeli couple in 2nd place, then the Italians in 3rd. 17 couples have skated so far, 5 to go, and there they are out on the ice warming up. Last 3 minutes of the warm-up. That's the lineup for this final group. 3 couples really to watch out for. Well, in fact, they're all good in this final group. It's going to be interesting to see how it affects the current standings. But 3 names in particular to look out for. Klushina Goncharov, they're 2nd to go. They were silver medalists last year. Then the French couple, the bronze medalists of last year, Delibel and Schoenfelder, and 3rd to go. Great to see them back. Drobiazko and Vanagas from Lithuania, the bronze medalists, what, 4 years ago?
Yeah, and I'm so pleased that they've come back and that you can do that now. You know, Margarita and Povalas, I don't think were marked as well as they should have been at times. You know, a lot of us felt that way, and they have such talent. So it'll be very interesting to see how they position into this competition.
And there's a man who has so much impact in figure skating these days. Morozov, choreographer of many of the free programs, and very involved with a lot of the dance teams.
It's interesting to me that Denkova, Stavisky are not coming here, you know, because they've had an injury. And if there's, it used to be that if there was anything wrong at all, you would go and try and do the best you can. But now, with so much at stake, if there is something slightly wrong, then I think, you know, it's okay to take it out in this year, and that's kind of acceptable now, isn't it? If you've got a groin strain, or there's a slight strain, or you want to work on something a bit more, you can almost say Europeans have done Worlds. Europeans don't need it because Olympics is the big one. And similarly, really, as we're looking at it with Barbara and Maurizio, you know, they came into the Italians, the former world champions, came into the Italian championships, won it, did great, and they easily qualified to get to Olympics. And them being here, you know, if there was a slightest bit wrong, then, you know, why bother? Why bother putting yourself on the line here? You do it at Olympics, and that's going to be very exciting to see what the judges can do with where they would fit at the Olympic Games, particularly with it being in Torino. Why would they come here first? So just interesting to see 2 of the big names not here. You know.
Yeah, I think as far as Denkova and Stavisky are concerned, they've had the Grand Prix series and plenty of events to show their face and get their name in the frame. But with the Italians, we haven't seen them competing at this sort of event for 4 years now, and
and there they're going to go out as former world champions in their home country in the Olympics.
It's going to be fantastic.
The roof will come off that
It
place.
will.
Yes.
Looking forward to it. Well, that's just about a month away now. The Olympic Winter Games in Turin, and well, who knows, there's some prospective medalists out on the ice in this final group.
It's the first time I can remember there is such a, a resurgence of people coming back, this number of people coming back that can throw, the cat amongst the pigeons, literally, at the very top level. Makes it exciting.
Well, Jane and Chris did it. So here we go with the final group of this first stage of the ice dance event, the opening event here in Lyon at these European Figure Skating Championships, the Tango Romantica, and a great couple to watch, another couple who have really stormed their way up the rankings, representing Hungary, and twice silver medalists in the Junior World Championships, 10th in Europeans last year. This is Nora Hoffman and Attila Elik.
And good speed and ice coverage. They're really getting down into the knees on every step.
Well, that was very good indeed. Enjoyed it a lot. But I've got a question for you, Nikki. While I was watching that, she, to me, seems to be the power horse of the team. And he was working hard there to keep up with her, I thought. Hips were back. Just seemed as though he was struggling to keep up with her.
Yeah, I can see what you mean by she has the strength and she's really going for it and leading it. But I felt that the way they played that was good because he was really down in the knee and working with her. It didn't strike me that he was left behind, but I understand his hips are a little bit back in places, and that makes it just the line a little not as precise as you'd like, really. But it's I thought they've improved a lot for me on that dance, and I thought the ice coverage was good, and the yeah, it was just kind of the overall attack of it that was fun. I liked, you know, because we talked a bit this afternoon about the height difference. They don't have that. But on this sequence here where we see it, because they're both so down in the knee, the head height staying matching, and they're really using getting down in the knee as part of the dance, and they match well together. So it looks to me like it matches very well, and it's great. Like he's down there, really down, and they're drawing the edges back and then up into the center. So there's an alignment on all the steps, which is good. That's what I like to see.
Yeah, there's no doubt about getting into the ice for these two, is it?
But she has got a great personality, hasn't she? She's really selling the dance out.
Really good. There's been a lot of talk about these two. Of course, next year could be a big year for them. There'll be several couples that won't keep going.
After Olympics is always a clear out. A lot of people just have aimed for that throughout their career and timed things to fit into that kind of time frame.
Well, Nikki liked it. Let's see how the judges viewed it. Well, the first set of marks 14.30, and been dropped a little bit there on the timing for the components marks there. 12.78, which gives them a total of 27.80. That's not good news for them. 10th place it is at this stage. They won't like that. They were looking for more than that. There's still 3 big names to go at least. The silver medalists from the Europeans in Turin last year. Really looking to keep that sort of form going here. From the Ukraine, Elena Grushina and Ruslan Goncharov. Just really taking their time to settle down. Been on the podium for the last 2 years. Bronze in 2004, silver last year.
Powerful flowing edges.
Very, very good, but good enough? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Grushina Goncharov looking to regain that silver medal that they won last year.
What do you reckon, Nicky?
Well, I found myself looking at it expecting a little more, if I'm honest. Ruslan's expression stayed the same right the way through the dance. And I think, you know, when you're at this level, that they are very, very top level, to not have the relationship between the couple of what a tango is, trying to put that into it. It might be a cultural thing. Sometimes people just, you know, don't do tangos in their country, or whatever other culture. Maybe they do, you know. But whatever it is, there was something missing for me in that, which took away from the excitement that the dance can generate. So it's competent, and it was very, you know, well done, but it didn't have the spark. And I wouldn't have it above, you know, Galice and Sergei Sakhnovsky, and, you know, I think it might get better marks than them, but I'd always wonder, at the moment, I wonder why. Because, you know, it didn't have that attack, it didn't have that sharpness, it didn't have that depth of edge, and so many points to me. So it's like, you know, I'd have to be a complete technical specialist, do all the exams to know why, I'm sure. But, yeah, so it's good, but didn't somehow have the spark that you'd expect.
No, I'm with you. I think if you compare this, it would be lovely to see them back to back, wouldn't it, the Israelis and this performance?
Yes.
But for me,
yes,
by some way, I'd have the Israelis ahead. Because they were so sharp, weren't they?
Yes.
The speed across the ice was good.
Yes. Every moment, and the expression, and the look, and the focus, and, you know. And I still think there's a, you know, I still expect to have people positioned in a certain place when they come up, as it used to be. I still expect, you know, and yet I'm seeing something to me is brilliant, and it's like, what am I missing? It seems clear.
Well, let's see, 19.16 the technical score. That's pretty high, and components very, very high. These are excellent marks for Grushina and Goncharov, and they have a total of 38.82, and that will put them into the lead by some way. They lead by 0.61 marks. Unbelievable.
Well, well done to them. But they were surprised, and I'm surprised too.
Well, we settle down now after a bit of a shock there. Grushina Goncharov leading, Navka Kostomarov second, and Sheikh and Saganovsky for Israel in third, with 3 couples to go, and an almighty roar as these two take to the ice. Rightly so as well. We haven't seen them in Europeans or Worlds for 4 years. Representing Lithuania. They don't need an introduction really, but I'm going to give them one anyway. Margarita Drobiazko and Povilas Vanagas.
Nice deep edges.
Fabulous. It's as if they had never been away. But they've competed in 4 Olympic Winter Games. First one back in 1992 in Albertville. And they've earned a place in Turin by winning the Karl Schaefer Memorial Trophy in Vienna at the end of last year. Wonderful to see them back. You may wonder what they've been doing. They've been performing in shows for the last 4 years and producing some too. But you can tell from the reaction here that everybody welcomes them back into the competitive ranks of international figure skating.
And it is great. It's strong skating, very well performed, as you'd expect. Costumes to me and the overall rendition of a tango I don't know if the costumes really suggested a tango to me. They didn't. They're very nice, but it's not really capturing that tango feel, which can add a little bit to me in the overall interpretation of the dance that I see.
Did he look a little tight on that last sequence?
To me, I don't know if it was that, but some of the dance holds are not as open as I've seen them in the past, or they could be. So, you know, it's first time back here. There's pressure on, and it is compulsories. And I always found the compulsories so difficult to do. You have to be really relaxed and yet controlled. She's got great presentation as ever. Yeah, so I think they'll be very pleased with that as the start of the competition. I would have put an arm movement there, focused, letting the outside arms lead go and focus towards the corner, add a bit of width to it. Everything very competent and smooth.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
And he's got this great look about him, hasn't he? He really is. He stands like a champion, and that makes such a difference on the ice when the guys just have that presence. So.
Now we join Gwendol, who's got Elena and Ruslan.
Score pour les 4 composantes. 19 points, 29. Margarita Drobiazko et Julia Managas.
Hope what we need to continue skate much more fun have, and I hope that everything's gonna be all right.
Drobiazko and Vanagas go into second place with 38.34, pushing the Russians down to third. So Grushina Goncharov lead, the Lithuanians in second, and Navka Kostomarov, the defending champions, in third. Well, 2 couples to go, and well, anything could happen here. An almighty reception for the French couple. Last year they won the bronze medal. Could they go higher here in Lyon? Skating at home, this is Isabelle Delabel and Olivier Schoenfelder.
Lovely lilt to the skating. Well, it's supreme. Nick confident. I was going to say no. Got off straight away. It was looking so good. And now when that happens, you just have to start from the nearest practicable point. They just missed a step. That's in one section of 8 that the judges mark. So, goodness. such a shame, because the rest of the dance and the way it's been skated, absolutely excellent.
Well, what about that? Well, we've often been guilty of saying that the ice dance competition isn't very exciting, but in the last 15 minutes, this competition has been turned on its head. Now, what is going to happen there? There's certainly a deduction. I'm pretty sure, I'm looking through the paperwork here, but I'm pretty sure there's a 1-mark deduction for the fall. But we'll find out very shortly, and they're putting a brave face on it.
Such a shame, because I did a Murray Walker. I was just about to say it was.
Yeah, it was your fault.
How superb it was, because you were forgetting that they were doing a compulsory dance. They were delivering it as a tango. He was dancing it with such a softness in the knee, the little sharp movements, and it was lovely. And there it was, just getting the weight forward, maybe catching a rut or an edge, and straight up.
The saving grace was they got into it very quickly.
Caught feet. They just caught feet. And they've done that thousands and thousands of times, and it.
Watch the reaction here. They know how important that can be, and they can't believe it.
But for the rest of the dance, the way they were doing it, the way he was delivering it for me in particular, was lovely. It had this feel of an Argentinian like nightclub about it. He was just dancing a little bit of the tango, good feel to it. The outfit worked, everything was working for me. It's the pauses that are so important, you know. It's not moving all the time as well.
Well, when we catch our breath, we'll rejoin Gwendol down on ringside.
Good for you, and that's 4 years now.
It's difficult to say, probably.
France. We had a lot of shows in France. French tour, Philippine tour, so many shows, so everyone remember that.
Yeah, we got standing ovation in Compulsory. That's maybe first and last time in your life probably happens. The audience is great. You can see there are only a few people, but they make a lot of noise. So I hope now with every event it will be growing up, the temperature in the building. And it's just great that Lyon is hosting the championship. So
thank you very much. Bye.
Now, fabulous to see them smiling there. Standing ovation for the compulsories. Well, now, no standing ovation here. What is going to happen? Technical elements, 17.77. It's not good news. 18.89 the component score, and that will be good enough to have them in 4th place. They were looking for more. 35.66 the total score for Delibel and Schoenfelder. Ahead is the Israelis, and I think they're fortunate there. But 4th place and out of the medals at this stage. Well, what an afternoon this has been. Just one couple to go. They were 11th last year. Really fighting to get into that top 10 position. Representing Armenia, this is Anastasia Grebenkina and Vazien Azoroyan.
Good alignment on the opening. Not as much speed as some of the other couples. They're not getting to the outside of some of the patterns on the ice.
Well, a lovely way to end what has been quite an exciting afternoon. They look on form, Anastasia and Vazian. Well, Nikki, just going back to the French couple before, I'm not taking anything away from these two, but just looking at the scores, Delabelle and Schoenfelder, on the start of their second sequence where they had the fall, they could have got 2.5, but down to 1.3 for that section, because I suppose the loss of the flow and the timing and everything went, and they got the 1 point deduction as well. So it's incredibly harsh. If you make a mistake, you really do get penalised for it.
And I can understand that. You know, what I can't understand is Grusina Koncharoff being first, and with the best will in the world, you know, Povilas and Margarita being in second place. I thought Navka Kostomarov did a very good dance. I thought Chej Savnovsky, for me, were the best tango today. And I'm told that each section of the competition is supposed to be marked independent of the next section. But it feels to me like either in the judges' minds or something from the whole competition is influencing how this section is marked. Because on what I saw today, you know, I don't understand the first place. To me, first against fifth, when I put the two together and look at them, I go, okay, judges, let's take it to pieces. Let's go step by step here. Let's go line by line here. Tell me why, because I can't see it.
Well, I'm with you. I thought the Israelis were really on song today. But anyway, let's focus now on the Armenians, Anastasia and Vazian, and see where the judges are going to have them. They were 11th last year, so hoping to get into top 10. Technical mark of 14.1, it's not great. And 12.15 for the second mark, so 26.25 the total, and that's not going to be good enough for them. 14th place is where they're going to slot. So they were looking for more than that, anxiously looked down, and not what they wanted to see. Still a long way to go. Of course, we've got the original dance and the free dance, but they'd have been looking for more than that. Well, it really has been a topsy-turvy afternoon, and this is how it's panned out. Grusina Koncharoff leading for the Ukraine with Drobiazko and Vanagas. Didn't think I'd be saying that again, in second place. And Navka and Kostomarov, the defending champions, down in third place. How must they be feeling? The French in fourth after a fall, and Shate and Saganovsky, we feel unlucky, in fifth place. Great news for the Kurds in eighth. The situation further down, confirmation of the Armenians placing there. Second of the Israeli team in 17th spot. And the second British couple there in 20th place. Well, what an afternoon. Really hope you've enjoyed it. Fantastic start to these European Championships. Well, we catch our breath. It's been quite an opening event. Well, while we catch our breath, we are going to go behind the scenes and talk to Isabelle and Olivier, see exactly what happened. So Gwendole's asking exactly what happened when you fell. Olivier saying he thinks his skate has caught his trousers and he lost his concentration. And that sort of explains what happened.
Isabelle, on a vu au ralenti que les deux patins se sont touchés.
It's a big deception, he says, and Gwendol now turns to Isabelle and saying, well, we saw on the slow motion that the two skates collided. Did you feel that? She says she feels that Olivier didn't have enough speed, so the skates made contact. She says she felt it, but she was concentrating hard and concentrating to stay on her feet. Gwendol now says last year you also had a bad ranking after the compulsories, so you still have hope here. And Isabelle says without the crash she thinks they could have had a good ranking here, so it is really disappointing to have fallen. Last year they were 4th after the compulsories in Turin. It's a really open competition, as you could see. The competition will continue and they're going to give everything. Well, they're putting a brave face on it, and that's about all they can do. Well, there's just a couple of hours before the start of the pairs event, the pairs short program, and Nikki and I will be there live. So hope you can join us